Hike number 7 is Round Top Mountain and Winnemuca Lake, possibly 4th of July peak, just because of the name. A mountain called 4th of July. Anyway, starting this hike a little bit later than I wanted to. At midday, I did need $10 fee for this hike, so I had to get it. Yeah, so I had to get $10 for the hike, which took me a bit of time because there's a little town here called Kirkwood. No, they don't carry cash. That's what I was told. Everything's digital. Anyway, so still plenty of time to do this hike. It's only about 14 kilometers long. Actually, no, if I do 4th of July, it's 14. If I don't, it's 10. So shortened hike today. I think I need a fee for this hike until I saw this, and the inter-agency pass, which I do have, is not valid just for this hike. The reason I thought I didn't need a pass for this or fee for this is because this is a national forest, and the America the Beautiful National Pass is valid for all national forests as well. So anyway, lesson learned. Sometimes I should have a look before I do the hike whether I do need a fee. I've done that for most hikes, but I didn't do that for this one. I could walk along the road, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go up the trail here. So this is the way we're going. Yeah, so 10 Ks or 14 Ks if I actually do 4th of July. Now, if I do 10 Ks, that means we're talking about 3 hours at the most, which means I'll get to like Lake Tahoe at about 4 p.m. And I'm going to get a bit of an email from where I'm staying next, because they have an online check-in system. Yeah, online check-in system. They give you the code before 4 p.m. You get that code. Yeah, so I do like that system. By the way, this particular, it's pretty cool. The elevation's about, in fact I should start my watch. Elevation is about just above 8,000 feet, 8,277. It's quite cool. Possibility of a shower or thunderstorm today. You can actually see some grey clouds up there, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. That's one of the reasons why I probably would have preferred to start this hike a little bit earlier than I'm doing now, but oh well. I think that mountain's called Red Mountain. There's also a Red Lake down there somewhere, and Round Top's up there. In fact, you can see a few peaks, 3 peaks. So Round Top, and one of those is 4th of July peak. Elevation gain 600 meters. Doesn't seem like that much, but oh well, let's keep going. In fact, I should stop and put sunscreen on. I forgot to do that. Wilderness boundary, Lost Cabin Mine Trail. Well, if it's lost, then how do they know where it is? And how is a trail there? These questions. Very interesting. Okay. I'm assuming that's Round Top. Sort of is like a round top. Coming up to some ruins. That's what's said on all trails. I expected maybe a ruined house or a cabin or something. Mining site. But no, this is what we got. A ruined vehicle of some sort. Rusted away. It's like the engine. And no idea I would assume maybe something to do with mining. Maybe. Can't even tell what it is. Definitely a vehicle, because that's probably the odometer. Just in there somewhere. It's old though. Maybe that's the engine. Who knows? Well, probably a lot of people. Some people will be looking at this and going, that's a 1923 whatchamacallit. Okay, let's keep going. There was also another trail down here. And that trail, I'm pretty sure, goes to a little waterfall. I have no desire to go see a waterfall. Another wilderness area, Mokolum. I'm pretty sure this is one of the rules. Wilderness areas are closed to motor vehicles and motorized equipment. Pretty sure that is one of the rules. Anyway, El Dorado National Forest. Okay, now we're 11 minutes into the hike. Round top. 4th of July is one of those, maybe that one there. Anyway, we're close to a lake. And the section up to Round Top. I was slightly concerned about storms today. It looks like fair weather Q. And I was looking at this cloud here. It was bubbling up, but it's being sheared apart. And understandably so, there's a lot of wind. So anything that wants to develop, any showers or storms that want to develop, just can't because of the shear. So strong winds. I'd say it's fairly strong winds up there. And the shear means as you go up, the wind gets really strong compared to a little bit below. So the updrafts just can't be maintained. In fact, you can see the sheared off bit. There's the bits that's sticking out right there. Yeah, that's the sheared off bit. Anyway, it's a pleasant enough hike. And one of the reasons behind that is there's no one here. Walking towards Round Top, I can see the trail. Yeah, I can see a small trail going up, so quite exposed, which is why I don't want to climb up there if there is a storm. Shower, okay. It is quite cool. For winter is coming, even though it's still summer. I'm doing that in quotation marks. It is summer, but for me this is start of fall, not the summer. You can definitely feel it up here. First stop up, Round Top Lake. A few lakes off in the distance. Challenging hike. I think it's time to put my hat away and maybe put on a coat. Almost blowing a gale here. Anyway, Round Top. View from my break. I was trying to figure out what that lake was. Then I saw there was another lake that way. And then I realized there's a massive lake that way. Yeah, that is Lake Tahoe. So you're not far, well, we're not far from Lake Tahoe right here. You can see the trail. And I had a long break, so two people went past me. Can't believe there's like 2 people on this whole, or 3 people on this whole hike, and we all knew it near each other. Anyway, up to the top. Looking at the side there, and it is steep. Really steep. And right now I've got a lull in the wind. Won't last long though. Okay, putting my camera away. It's getting a little bit tougher. Need balance. Video going up to So this is the top of Round Top. Actually, I think that's the top, but it's just not worth it. Lake Tahoe's in the distance. Caples Lake, Round Top Lake. The journey up here was interesting. Surrounded by lakes. And it's windy and cold. On the way down. Very glad I had people with me. Sort of been a little bit nerve-wracking being by myself because a lot of scrambling. And then this bit here, it's quite steep and it's all gravelly, but it's getting better now, so hence I've taken my camera out. Just keeping a close eye on the clouds there, but still got Mount Tanak. There's another trail there. Oh well. Beautiful. Round Top Lake. So I enjoyed that hike, the top of that hike, with 2 other people from Korea living in San Jose, and they took a few photos of me, and I really enjoyed having some people with me at the top of that hike. So apparently this hike is very well known by locals, and I can definitely understand why. It's a doozy. So Round Top, potentially in terms of the top, getting to the top, one of the more difficult hikes. A lot of scrambling, probably class 3, definitely not class 4, definitely class 3. Maybe slightly less harrowing as Palisades Glacier. I didn't feel threatened at all in that hike, but that's one of the reasons I put my camera away, because at times you have to use both your hands. Anyway, look at that beautiful lake. Now, some dark clouds are rolling in from the south, so I'm concerned about getting wet, so I am hustling. Although in saying that, oh no, I did not bring my rain jacket. I kept it in the car. Dang. Okay, so definitely want to get a move on. Hit a 4-way junction there. Okay, bye. Let's hope we don't get wet. Just looking up at Round Top, even that section, you can sort of see a trail there. There's a few switchbacks. If you go down the wrong section there, it's really steep and the gravel's all loose, and you would slide all the way down. So you have to be really careful. That's why the switchbacks are needed there. Anyway, really good hike, but at times a little bit testing my patience, put it that way. Nice background there. So to get here, you have to drive along Highway 88. Second time I've driven along Highway 88. First time was in 2017 with Janine, and I'm going to tell you a bit of a story now about this hike. Actually, no, not this hike, that drive. So we had stayed in San Francisco the night before. I think we stayed in San Francisco a few nights, because we definitely walked around San Francisco all day one day. Anyway, I was paying attention to the forecast because they were actually forecasting the possibility of some snow flurries, no accumulation, among or at the top of the ranges, Sierras, or what they want to call them, the next day when we're going to be driving to Lake Tahoe. And I don't want to drive or like to drive along the interstates unless I'm in a little bit of a hurry. But this day I was not in a hurry, so there was quite a few other routes across the Sierras. So I chose one, and as we were driving along that road, we got to a road is closed sign, and I was like, oh no. I think it was road is closed further up. And I was thinking at that point, oh no, fires. because we had experienced a lot of fires, that sort of thing, during that trip in 2017, and that was my first thought, was fires. So I found a little small town, got out of the car because you don't have any sort of internet or phone service. Back then there was no eSIMs or anything like that. So I found a little small town just to see what was happening, alternate routes, that sort of thing. And then I saw the reason why the road was closed. It was for snow. I was like, what? Now, this was the last day of summer. Yeah, well, technically the last day of summer. Well, technically in American sense. I don't consider summer beginning September, whatever it is, 22, or summer ending September 22. I think summer ends at the start or the end of August. That's just me, because you start to see the things changing during September. It's more of a meteorological, climatological definition. When the seasons change, September 22nd, what's the other one? December 22nd, that's an astronomical definition, not a meteorological or climatological. Anyway, point was, why is a road closed for snow? It was only supposed to be some snow flurries. Anyway, I found an alternate route, and that was Highway 88. We made it, and as we were driving up, I was keeping an eye on the temperature outside, and when I got to about 41 Fahrenheit, I was thinking to myself, this is about when we might start to see some snow flurries. We also started to see the clouds starting to thicken, go greyer, and then we started to see snow flurries. It was quite exciting, seeing snow flurries. Now, this was nowhere near the top. So Kit Carson Pass, it's about 9,000 feet. We're nowhere near that elevation. Anyway, so as we kept going up and up, the snow got a little bit heavier, and then it started accumulating on the roads. And when that starts happening, you have to be very mindful. Roads can become a little bit slippery. So that was the first point where I was like, this could be dodgy. Snow became thicker and thicker and thicker. Started to slow down my driving quite a bit. No snow chains or anything like that. And then finally, there wasn't much traffic, a little bit of traffic, but we hit a bit of a roadblock. And there was a cop car on the side, and a motorcyclist had gone up and he slid over, which is sort of understandable. So we went past them, still snowing fairly heavily. Had to concentrate, driving quite slowly. We got to Kit Carson Pass, and then as we came down the other side, we were treated to a winter wonderland. Had to stop the car at one point and get the ice scraper out and scrape all the snow and ice off the whatever it was. I forget what we did. Definitely did that. But a beautiful winter wonderland on the other side. Stayed in Lake Tahoe that night, and it snowed in Lake Tahoe. And the next morning had to get the ice scraper out again to scrape all the ice off. So that was the last day of summer 2017. And lo and behold, I discovered this hike. This hike with that. So I thought, why not do it? Why not do it? Nice little island in the middle of Winnemuca Lake. Not sure how to pronounce it. Keep my eyes on Round Top. It's nice scenery in this at the end of this hike. Nothing spectacular. At least it's nice, as I am sort of rushing to get back to the car. Not overly rushing. I can just imagine, as I overly rush to get home, that I'm having a bit of an accident, trip over, break my leg, something like that. So that'd be the dumbest thing you could ever do. Be nice and safe in hard bits, and then be reckless on the easy bits, just because you're rushing a little bit. Anyway, here comes the lake. Wake, Winnemuca. That's spoonerisms for you. Anyway, Lake Winnemuca. Back up there is Round Top. Learning something new every single day. A rastra, crushing device for pulverizing gold or silver ore made up of a heavy stone dragged over a stone, prepared and usually pulled by Moors, first used by early Mexicans. And it must be that. This must be an arastra. Looks a little bit too circular for nature to form that. Anyway, no rain yet. No rain yet. Hike number 7 completed. Round Top and Winnemuca Lake. About 10.5 kilometers. 4 hours and 10 minutes. So probably a little bit longer than I thought it would have been, just because to get to the top of Round Top, it was intense. Maybe intense is the wrong word, but more rock scrambling than I was anticipating. Anyway, so this is the road back to the car park. Felt a few drops, but not a lot. So that's good. Some grey clouds above. It's all good. Anyway, so tonight I'll be staying in South Lake Tahoe. Might have a burger. I feel like a burger. And tomorrow, Mount Talac. And by the way, this time last week, probably at REI, I think. So I've been here a week. 8 to go. Not that I'm counting. Although technically I'm counting, because hike number 7. Anyway, that's it for this hike.